Welcome back, class, to the second part of Environment, Shankaraya's Chapter 4, Aquatic Ecosystem. So, in now we will discuss about the India's wetland. So, first we know about the wetland. A wetland is a transition zone between deep water and terrestrial ecosystem. Means this is a transitional zone between deep water and terrestrial ecosystem. For example, lake littorals, marshy or swampy areas. And we have World Wetland Day on 2nd February of every year. And there are some alterations wet in wetland rules 2017. Government do some alterations in the wetland rules 2017, that states can alter activities prohibited in wetlands. State can alter activities prohibited in wetlands. Development of integrated plans. Third one is all wetlands except river channels, paddy fields, human-made water bodies for drinking water, aquaculture, salt production can be notified. So, in India, wetlands occupy 18.4% of country's area, which 70% are under paddy cultivation, and we have more number of inland water wetlands than coastal wetlands. Now there is a national wetlands conservation program. It is it was implemented in the year 1985 to 1986, and it is a single conservation program for both wetlands and lakes. It is a centrally sponsored scheme currently being implemented by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and it formulated in 2015 by merging of National Lake Conservation Program and National Wetland Conservation Program. So according to it, we have 115 wetlands being identified by the ministry, under which urgent conservation and management interventions are done, and it has the aim of National Wetland Conservation Program is the conservation of wetlands to prevent their further degradation and ensuring their wise use for the benefit of local communities and overall conservation of biodiversity. The objectives of the National Wetlands Program are that to lay down the policy guidelines for conservation and management of wetlands, and to provide financial assistance for the undertaking intensive conservation measures, and to monitor implementation of programs, and to prepare an inventory of Indian wetlands. The central government is responsible for overall coordination of wetland conservation programs and initiatives at the international and national levels, and it also provides guidelines, financial and technical assistance to state government. And state government and UT administration are responsible for management of wetlands and implementation of national wetland conservation program. There are the criteria for the identification of wetlands of national importance, and this criteria is under the National Wetland Conservation Program. and are same as those prescribed under Ramsar Convention on Wetlands. What is Ramsar Convention on Wetlands? According to Ramsar Convention, it defines the wetlands as the areas of marsh, peatland, or water, whether natural or artificial, permanent or temporary, with water that is static or flowing, fresh brackish or salt, including areas of marine water, depth of which at low tides does not exceed 6 meters, according to Ramsar Conservation. 6 meters. And this Ramsar Convention signified in India signified this Ramsar Convention in Ramsar, Iran in 1971, and there are 42 Ramsar sites in India as of December 2020, and this is the sole treaty for particular ecosystem, and it includes lakes, rivers, estuaries, swamps, mangroves, coral reefs, peatlands, wetlands, deltas, tidal flats, fish ponds, rice paddies as reservoirs, and salt pans. So according to the national wetland conservation program, the identification of the wetlands are that minimum depth of the wetland should be of 3 meter, first one, and it contains representative rare or unique wetland types such as natural or near natural wetland found near within the appropriate biogeographic region. And second one is criteria based on species and ecological communities, that it support vulnerable, endangered or critical endangered species, it support population of plant and animal species, it support plant and animal species of critical stage in their life cycles. Third one is specific criteria based on water birds, that is if it regularly supports 20,000 or more water birds, it regularly supports 1% of individuals in a population of one species or subspecies of water birds. Fourth one is based on fish, that it supports a significant proportion of indigenous fish subspecies, species or families, and if it is an important source for food for fishes, spawning a ground, nursery or migration path, and if it is important source of food and water resources, increase possibilities of recreation and ecotourism, improved scenic values and educational opportunities, conservation of cultural heritage. Estuary. Now let's come to the estuary ecosystem. Estuary ecosystem is the area where river meets the sea and resulting in mixture of fresh river water with salty ocean water subject to tidal variations, and it is acting as a natural water filter, and it the complete range from 0 to 35 ppt is seen from the head, that is river water, to the mouth of an estuary. How estuary formed? There are four geographic categories based on the physical processes. First one is rising sea level. Rising sea levels, that these rising sea levels take with them the sediments and etc., and collect at the mouth of the river. And second one is mouth of movement of sand and sandbars. Third one is glacial processes, and fourth one is tectonic processes. All these processes take sediments and etc. things with them and collects at the lower part of the river of the mouth. Indian estuarine ecosystem. Let's talk about Indian estuarine ecosystem. The country has 14 major and 44 medium and 162 minor rivers drains into sea through various estuaries, and major estuaries occur in the Bay of Bengal, and many estuaries are locations of some of the major sea ports. Most of the India's major estuaries occur on the east coast. In contrast, estuaries on the west coast are smaller. Mangroves. Mangroves are the littoral plants like trees and bushes having exceptional capacity for salt water tolerance. Salt water tolerance is also known as halophytic adaptability and growing below high water level of spring tides. This is known as mangroves, and basically it is evergreen land plants, and it is growing on sheltered shores, typically on tidal flats, deltas, estuaries, bays, creeks, and the barrier islands. And it require solar high solar radiation and have the ability to absorb fresh water from the saline and brackish water, and it produces pneumatophores, yeah, means blind roots to overcome respiration problem in the anaerobic soil conditions. And the leaves of the mangroves are thick and contain sol secreting glands. It exhibit viviparity mode of reproduction, that its seeds germinate in tree itself, then it fall on the ground, and this is an adaptive medicine to overcome the germination in saline water. And crystals of salt on the back of the leaves other block observation absorption of the salt on their roots. So some there are some characteristics of mangroves that they have the these are the characteristics of mangroves, that they are evergreen land plants growing on tidal flats and deltas, and they have high adaptation to salinity, and they absorb fresh water from saline water, and produce pneumatophores yani means blind roots, and they are adventitious roots called stilt roots, and they provides employment opportunities also. Mangroves of Sundarbans are the largest single block of tidal holophytic mangroves of the world and famous for Royal Bengal tiger and crocodiles. The mangroves of Bhitarkanika, that is in Odisha, which is the second largest in the Indian subcontinent. It has the harbor high concentration of typical mangrove species and high genetic diversity. They protect coastal lands from the tsunami, hurricanes, and floods, and they release oxygen back to the atmosphere along with a little methane gas. Coral reefs. Corals. Coral is actually a living animal. Are living animals which lives in the symbiotic relationship with zooxanthellae, microscopic algae, and both have mutual type of relation. They the tissue of the corals themselves are actually not beautiful colors of the corals, but are instead clear white. The corals receive their coloration from the zooxanthellae living within their tissues. There are two types of corals: hard corals and soft corals, such as sea fens and gorgonis. Only hard corals build reefs, The builders of coral reefs are tiny smalls. These are called polyps, and as these polyps thrive, grow, and then die, they leave their limestone, that is calcium carbonate skeletons, behind, and this limestone is colonized by new polyps. The coral reefs are mostly found in tropical and subtropical water. There are also deep water corals in the colder regions, and the Nations Economic Program reports that there are more cold water coral reefs worldwide than tropical reefs. There are only about 6 different coral species associated with in building these coral reefs, and the largest cold water coral reef is Roast Reef of Norway. What are the features or characteristics that these corals found in the area? That they areas occur in the shallow tropical areas where the sea water is clear, and warm. The coral reef cover Indian water is roughly estimated up to 19,000 square kilometer, and coral reefs are one of the most productive and complex coral ecosystem with high biological diversity. They classified depending on their locations into fringing, patch, barrier, and atoll. They are the classification of corals. What are fringing reefs? The fringing The fringing reefs are the contiguous with shore, and they are most common by occurring reef form and found in Andamans. Patch reefs are isolated and discontinuous patches, leaving shoreward offshore reef structures as seen in the Park Bay, Gulf of Mannar, and Gulf of Kutch. Barrier reefs are the linear offshore reef structures that run parallel to the coastlines, and arise from submerged their shell platforms, and the water body between reef and the shore is termed as lagoon, and these barrier reefs are seen in Nicobar and Lakshadweep. Atoll coral reefs are circular or semicircular in nature, that arising from the subsiding sea floors platform as corals building keeps ahead of subsidence, as the examples are of Lakshadweep and Nicobar. Among the four major reef areas of India, Andaman and Nicobar Islands are found to be very rich in species diversity, followed Andaman and Nicobar first, and then followed by Lakshadweep Islands, then Gulf of Mannar, and then Gulf of Kutch. Coral bleaching. What is coral bleaching? The bleaching or the paling of coral color occurs when densities of zooxanthellae decline. The concentration of photosynthetic pigments within the zooxanthellae fall, and there are some ecological causes also, that temperature major cause, some aerial exposure, that is extreme low tides, and sedimentation, freshwater dilution, inorganic nutrients, and xenobiotics, that is zooxanthellae loss occurs during exposure of corals to elevated. There are some initiatives that takes place to protect marine and coastal environments, and these are coastal ocean monitoring and prediction system, COMAMS, This is implemented in 1991, and it assists the health of coastal waters and management of pollution related issues. And the programs was restructured and modified in 2000 and 2001 to include pollution monitoring and regulation and legislation and consultancy services. Second initiative is Land Ocean Interactions in Coastal Zone, and it was launched in 1995. Investigates the effects of global change on the coastal zone, and aim was to develop on a scientific basis the integrated management of coastal environments. Third initiative is integrated coastal integrated coastal marine area and management. It was launched in 1998, and aim was integrated management of coastal and marine areas. Model plans for Chennai, Goa and Gulf of Kutch being prepared. The fourth initiative is Society of Integrated Coastal Management, and it was launched in 2010. National initiative to protect coastal ecosystem and professional body with experts in various aspects of coastal science and management. Institutions for coastal management are the notification on coastal regulation zone, that is 1991, amended from time to time. And India created institutional mechanisms such as National Coastal Zone Management Authority and State Coastal Zone Management Authority for the enforcement and monitoring of coastal regulation zone, and these authorities have been delegated powers under section 5 of the Environment Protection Act 1986 to various measures for protecting and improving the quality of coastal environment and preventing controlling environmental pollution in coastal areas. So we have complete our fourth chapter of aquatic ecosystem. We will back with the further chapters. Thank you, class.